Professor Naira Voss brushed azure dust from the ancient stone tablet, her three-fingered hands moving with practiced care. The ruins on Proxima 7 had stood untouched for millennia, their secrets waiting in the dark. As lead archaeologist for the Galactic Federation's Historical Sciences Division, she had seen countless ruins, but something about these felt different. Wrong. Professor. Her assistant Krell's voice echoed through the chamber. You need to see this. Naira moved through the ruins, her hovering platform gliding silently over fallen columns. She found Krell, his crystalline form glowing with excitement, in front of a massive wall covered in strange symbols. The translation matrix is having trouble, he said, but look at this section. The symbols shifted on her display, transforming into modern galactic standard. Warning to all who find this place. Avoid the system of soul. The humans sleep there. Pray they never wake. Another myth about the sleeping gods, Naira said, but her voice wavered. She had spent her career studying legends of the ancient species called humans. Most dismissed them as stories to frighten children, but she had found too many similar warnings across too many worlds. There's more, Krell said, his crystalline fingers tapping controls. This section describes them. The humans weren't gods, Professor. They were warriors, made into something more. They chose to sleep when the fighting was done, sealing themselves away in their home system. Before Naira could respond, her comm unit chimed. Professor Voss, a voice said. The Council requests your immediate presence. The research vessel Stellar Dawn has found something in the Forbidden Zone. Captain Dren Mox of the Stellar Dawn knew he had made a terrible mistake. The research mission was supposed to be routine, observe the Forbidden System from a safe distance, collect data, return home. But when they detected energy signatures from the third planet, curiosity overcame caution. Now he stood on his bridge, watching in horror as ancient defense platforms around the gas giant Jupiter came to life. His science officer, Dr. Ixil, worked frantically at her station, her feathered crest rising in agitation. Multiple structures activating across the system, she reported. The energy readings. Captain, I've never seen anything like this. Get us out of here, Dren ordered. But before his crew could respond, a new signal cut through their communications. Unidentified vessel, a calm female voice said, you have entered restricted space. Stand by for inspection. The voice was speaking perfect modern galactic standard. Impossible. This system had been quarantined for thousands of years. This is Captain Dren Mox of the Federation vessel Stellar Dawn, he responded. We mean no harm. We are a research vessel. Acknowledged, the voice said. However, your presence has triggered the awakening protocols. Please remain in position. Dr. Ixil's console erupted with new alerts. Captain, energy spike from the third planet. Something's happening. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, in a facility forgotten by time, Dr. Victoria Nash opened her eyes for the first time in 15 centuries. The cryogenic revival process was smooth, her enhanced biology adapting quickly. She sat up, her mind already clear. Status report, she commanded. Welcome back, Dr. Nash. The facility AI responded. The date is March 15th, 3542. You have been awakened due to Protocol Omega. Unidentified vessels have entered the system. Victoria stood, testing her legs. Her body felt strong. The genetic enhancements humanity had given itself still functioning perfectly. She walked to the central control room, memories flooding back. The war. The enemy they had faced. The decision to sleep until needed again. Show me, she ordered. Screens came to life, displaying the alien ship in orbit. More data scrolled past, defense systems coming online, other facilities beginning their awakening sequences. Soon others would wake, and Earth's long silence would end. Dr. Nash, the AI said, Captain Marcus Rhodes is awakening in Military Facility 7. As ranking scientific officer, do you wish to initiate full awakening protocols? Victoria stared at the alien ship on her screen. They looked nothing like the enemy she remembered, But after so long, who knew what had changed? Humanity had gone to sleep to protect the galaxy from both their own power and something worse. Now they were waking to a universe they didn't know. No, she said finally. Minimal awakening only. We need to understand what we're dealing with first. She opened a channel to the alien vessel. This is Dr. Victoria Nash of Earth. Before anyone does anything unfortunate, I suggest we talk. In Military Facility 7, Captain Marcus Rhodes woke to flashing red alerts. His soldier's instincts kicked in immediately, combat enhancements flooding his system with awareness. He accessed the facility's systems, absorbing the situation in seconds. Aliens in their space. Defense systems active. Potential threat. But the orders from Dr. Nash gave him pause. Minimal response. Diplomatic contact. It went against his training, against the warrior humanity had made him to be. Yet they had slept not just to hide, but to change, to become something more than weapons. Status of the enemy, he asked his facility's AI. Unknown entities are not matched to historical threat patterns, the AI responded. Their technology is significantly different from the Void Collective. Marcus relaxed slightly. Not their ancient enemy then. Perhaps this could end without violence. He opened his weapons locker, donning his armor more from habit than necessity. As he prepared to head to the surface, new alerts sounded. Multiple facilities reporting awakening sequences across all continents, the AI reported. Orbital defense platforms achieving combat readiness. Solar system defense grid at 60% capacity and rising. Marcus smiled grimly. Humanity might want peace, but they hadn't forgotten how to fight. He only hoped they wouldn't need to prove it. Prepare my shuttle, he ordered. Let's go meet our visitors. As his craft rose through layers of Earth toward the surface, Marcus thought about the warnings humanity had left scattered across the galaxy. They had called themselves gods of war, not from pride, but as a warning. Now those warnings had been ignored, and the sleepers were awakening. The question was, would they wake as gods of war once more? Or had their long sleep given them the chance to become something more? As his shuttle broke through into sunlight for the first time in centuries, Marcus hoped they would choose wisely. The future of two civilizations might depend on it. High Counselor Tharazin's meditation crystals shattered as the emergency alert pierced her chambers. In 500 years leading the Galactic Federation's council, she had never seen the ancient warning systems activate. Now they blazed across every screen in the Federation capital, their message clear. The sleepers of soul were awakening. Report, she commanded, entering the council's emergency chamber. Representatives from 1,000 worlds filled the tiered seats, their forms ranging from energy beings to crystalline entities to organic species of all descriptions. Professor Naira Voss stood at the center of the chamber, her archaeological findings displayed above her. The humans were not myths, she said, her voice steady despite the gravity of her words. They were warriors who fought an enemy so terrible they had to remake themselves into living weapons to survive. And now they wake. A counselor interrupted. The Stellar Dawn's violation of their space has roused them. We should strike now before. Before what? A new voice echoed through the chamber. The holographic form of Dr. Victoria Nash appeared, transmitted across light years. Before we can explain that we chose sleep not out of weakness, but wisdom. The chamber erupted in chaos. Thara raised her hand for silence, studying the human scientist's projection. You speak our language, she said. You've been monitoring us. Our systems never slept, Victoria replied. We needed to be ready in case the enemy returned. What enemy? Naira asked, her archaeological curiosity overcoming protocol. The ruins speak of a great war, but never name what you fought. Victoria's hologram flickered. We called them the Void Collective. They were beings of pure quantum energy, consuming organic life to expand their consciousness. We drove them back to the space between galaxies, but the cost. She paused. The cost was becoming something we feared more than them. Deep beneath Earth's surface, Captain Marcus Rhodes led Professor Naira through the awakening military facility. The alien archaeologist had been allowed to visit under strict supervision, part of the careful diplomatic dance between humans and the Federation. These chambers, Naira said, studying the rows of cryogenic pods, they're not just for preservation. They're transformation engines. Marcus nodded. Each sleep cycle enhanced us further. Speed, strength, healing, neural processing, all increased exponentially. Some feared we'd lose our humanity entirely. A distant rumble shook the facility. Marcus accessed the defense network through his neural interface. Another weapons platform coming online, he explained. The Sol system had the strongest defensive grid ever created. It's all activating now. Because of us? Naira asked. Our presence? No, Marcus said grimly. Because something's coming. The same thing we felt before we went to sleep. The Void Collective isn't as gone as we hoped. Dr. Victoria Nash stood in Earth's primary control center, surrounded by holographic displays showing the awakening solar system. More humans emerged from stasis each day, their enhanced bodies and minds adapting quickly to the modern era. Doctor, the facility AI announced, we've detected quantum anomalies at the edge of Federation space. The pattern matches historical records of Void Collective activity. Victoria closed her eyes. They had slept for 15 centuries, hoping to wake to a peaceful galaxy. Instead, they woke to find their ancient enemy had merely been waiting, growing stronger in the darkness between stars. A communication request flashed. High Counselor Tharazin's elegant form appeared. Dr. Nash, she said, we've lost contact with 3 outer colonies. Our weapons have no effect on the attacking force. Because you're fighting energy with energy, Victoria replied. We learned that lesson the hard way. The Void Collective exists partially outside normal space-time. Conventional weapons just pass through them. Then we are defenseless? Victoria glanced at another screen, showing Captain Rhodes overseeing the activation of Earth's weapon factories. No, she said. But to fight them, your people will need to change, as we did. The question is, are you ready for that? In a hidden facility beneath Mars' southern ice cap, Dr. Kane Weber woke from his 15th century sleep. As humanity's lead weapons researcher, his revival signaled a significant escalation. He immediately accessed the situation reports, his enhanced mind processing centuries of data in minutes. They've evolved, he muttered, studying scans of the Void Collective's new form. Adapted. Just like we did. His laboratory hummed to life around him, automated systems beginning production cycles and used since the ancient war. The Federation would need weapons that could harm beings of pure quantum energy. More importantly, they would need the biological enhancements that had let humanity survive fighting such an impossible enemy. But those enhancements had almost cost humans their very essence. The line between evolution and extinction, between transcendence and loss, was razor thin. As his machines began crafting weapons that could shake the pillars of reality, Kane wondered if the Federation's species were ready for such power. On the Federation capital world, Professor Naira Voss presented her findings to an emergency session of the Military Council. The chamber was packed with admirals and generals from 100 species, all watching with growing concern as she explained humanity's true nature. They're not gods, she concluded. They're scientists and soldiers who did what was necessary to survive. But that necessity changed them forever. She displayed an image of human DNA before and after their transformation. The question isn't whether they're dangerous. They are. The question is, are they dangerous to us or for us? Admiral Krell Voss, his energy form pulsing with agitation, spoke. These humans sleep for millennia, then wake claiming an ancient enemy threatens us? Convenient timing, wouldn't it be, if we gave them access to our worlds, our people? With respect, Admiral, a new voice said. If we wanted your worlds, we wouldn't ask permission. Captain Marcus Rhodes stepped from the shadows, his presence immediately commanding the room's attention. He moved with liquid grace, every motion displaying the enhanced capabilities that had made humans legendary. But we didn't wake to conquer, he continued. We woke to warn, and if necessary, to teach. The Void Collective is returning. You can face them alone and die, or let us show you how to fight beings that break the laws of physics themselves. And become like you? Someone asked. Living weapons? No, Marcus replied. Become something new. Something neither human nor what you are now. The question isn't whether you'll change. The Void Collective will force that choice. The question is whether you'll change on your terms or theirs. As if to punctuate his words, emergency alerts blared throughout the chamber. 100 ships had just appeared at the edge of Federation space, their quantum signatures matching ancient human records. The Void Collective had arrived. The time for debate was over. Now the Federation would have to choose: remain as they were and face extinction, or embrace transformation and face the darkness with their former gods of war beside them. The gods had awakened, but this time, they came not to fight alone, but to ensure the galaxy's species would never need to sleep in fear again. The quantum storm engulfed the Federation outpost on Centauri Prime, reality itself twisting as the Void Collective attacked. Commander Lyra Vex watched in horror as her best weapons passed harmlessly through the ethereal invaders. Their form shifted constantly, sometimes appearing as crystalline lattices, other times as waves of dark energy. Fall back, she ordered, her chitinous armor cracking under the strain of exotic particles. Emergency protocols. But there was nowhere to fall back to. The Void Collective didn't just destroy, they consumed, breaking down organic matter into quantum information. Already half the colony had vanished, its people reduced to data in the enemy's vast consciousness. A new signal cut through the chaos. Centauri Prime, this is Captain Marcus Rhodes. Hold position. 3 ships appeared in orbit, their design unlike anything Lyra had seen. They moved impossibly fast, their hulls seeming to exist in multiple places at once. Green beams lanced out, and for the first time, the Void Collective recoiled. How? Lyra whispered. How are they hurting them? Because we learned to fight fire with fire, a voice said behind her. Dr. Kane Weber stood there, his enhanced human form radiating an energy she couldn't quite look at directly. You have to become partially quantum to fight quantum beings. In the Federation's Emergency Command Center, Dr. Victoria Nash worked with their best scientists, teaching them secrets humanity had paid for in blood centuries ago. The room was filled with holograms showing the Void Collective's advance across 3 sectors. The key isn't just the weapons, she explained, displaying complex equations. It's understanding that reality isn't fixed. The collective exists in quantum superposition, everywhere and nowhere at once. To fight them, you have to do the same. Professor Nairavos, now serving as chief xenobiologist for the war effort, studied the human genetic modifications displayed before her. These changes, they're not just physical. You rewrote your entire existence. We had to, Victoria replied softly. Normal matter couldn't affect them. We had to become something between normal space and quantum space ourselves. The price was high. Some lost their minds, others lost their humanity entirely. And now you're offering this to us? Offering you the chance to survive. But you'll have to choose quickly. The collective isn't waiting. High Counselor Thrazen stood before the Federation Assembly, her crystalline form dimmed with fatigue. The past week had seen 30 worlds fall to the Void Collective. Conventional defenses were useless. Fear threatened to tear the Federation apart. The humans warned this is only the beginning, she said. The collective is testing our defenses, learning our weaknesses. Soon they will launch their main assault. And these gods of war conveniently appear to save us? Admiral Krelvos demanded. At the cost of transforming ourselves into weapons like them? Not like us, Captain Marcus Rhodes said, stepping onto the assembly floor. Something new. Something that might save your people without losing what makes them unique. He gestured, and Dr. Kane Weber appeared beside him, leading a team of Federation scientists. Among them was Commander Lyra Vex, her chitinous form now subtly altered, radiating a strange energy. Show them, Marcus ordered. Lyra raised her hand, and reality rippled. A small quantum anomaly appeared, hovered, then vanished. The assembly erupted in shocked whispers. The modifications are targeted, Kane explained. Minimal changes to allow quantum interaction. Your people remain themselves, but gain the ability to fight back. And if we refuse, someone asked. The answer came in the form of new emergency alerts. The Void Collective had just consumed 3 more worlds. Deep beneath Mars' surface, Dr. Kane Weber led Professor Naira through his hidden facility. The walls seemed to shift and move, quantum energy flowing through specially designed channels. This is where we first learned to fight them, he explained. Where we discovered how to exist in multiple states simultaneously. The breakthrough cost thousands of lives. And created weapons that could rewrite physics, Naira added, studying the strange devices around them. Not weapons, Kane corrected. Tools. The weapons are what we became. He touched a control panel, revealing a massive chamber beyond. This is what we're offering your people. The chamber held rows of transformation pods, similar to but distinctly different from human cryogenic units. Federation scientists worked alongside humans, modifying the technology for different species. The process is faster now, Kane said. Safer. We learned from our mistakes. Your people won't have to go as far as we did. Unless it's not enough, Naira said quietly. Unless we need to become like you to survive. Kane didn't answer. They both knew she was right. Commander Lyra Vex led the first mixed squadron of enhanced Federation fighters against a Void Collective assault force. Her newly modified body hummed with quantum energy, her consciousness existing partially outside normal space-time. Remember your training, Captain Rhodes' voice said over the comm. Don't try to destroy them. Disrupt their quantum coherence. Force them to collapse into normal space. The battle that followed would have been impossible to describe to her past self. Ships phased in and out of reality. Weapons fired beams that existed in probability rather than matter, and space itself seemed to fold and unfold like origami. For the first time, the Void Collective retreated. But their victory was bitter. Half her squadron had been lost, and she could feel the changes spreading through her body, altering her at levels deeper than DNA. The power was intoxicating, terrifying, and necessary. In her private chambers, Dr. Victoria Nash reviewed the latest reports. The Federation's transformation program was proceeding faster than expected, desperation driving innovation. But she saw the signs she feared. Some enhanced soldiers showing the same addictive relationship with power that had almost destroyed humanity. We're walking the same path, she told Marcus when he visited. They're changing too quickly, too deeply. They don't have the luxury of time like we did, he replied. The collective is moving faster than before. They've evolved too. A priority alert flashed. Massive quantum signatures detected approaching Federation space. Not a raid this time, an invasion fleet. The Void Collective had finished testing their defenses. Now the real war would begin, and the Federation species would have to complete their transformation, ready or not. The storm was no longer coming. It was here. The training chamber on Mars thrummed with quantum energy as Commander Lyra Vex faced her human instructor. Master Sergeant Diana Pierce moved like liquid lightning, her enhanced form shifting between states of matter as she demonstrated advanced combat techniques. The key isn't the power, Diana explained, her voice echoing in multiple quantum frequencies. It's control. The Void Collective thinks in absolutes, full quantum state or none. But we've learned to exist in between. Lyra attempted the maneuver, her chitinous form flickering between dimensions. For a moment, she achieved perfect balance, neither fully material nor quantum. Then reality snapped back, sending her crashing to the floor. Better, Diana said, helping her up. You're fighting your instincts less. Remember, it's not about becoming something else. It's about expanding what you already are. Around them, other Federation warriors trained with human instructors. Each species approached quantum combat differently, their unique biologies offering different advantages. The crystalline Thoraxians could naturally store quantum energy. The gaseous Vrel could shift their entire form between states instantly. They're learning faster than we did, Diana told Dr. Victoria Nash later, watching recordings of the training sessions. Maybe because they have guides, or maybe because they're choosing it rather than being forced by desperation. Let's hope that makes a difference, Victoria replied. Because the collective isn't giving us much time. Deep in Jupiter's atmosphere, Dr. Kane Weber and Professor Naira Voss supervised the activation of humanity's greatest secret, the quantum forge. The massive facility, hidden within the gas giant's turbulent storms, had once created the weapons that drove back the Void Collective. The original design was crude, Kane explained as they walked through impossibly large chambers. Brute force quantum manipulation. We've refined it over 15 centuries of automated evolution. And now you're giving this technology to us? Naira asked, her three-fingered hands moving over control surfaces that responded to thought as much as touch. Not giving, sharing. The forge doesn't create weapons anymore. It creates possibilities. They reached the central chamber, where Federation scientists worked alongside human engineers. The technology they created defied conventional physics. Ships that could match the Void Collective's quantum nature, defense systems that could predict attacks before they happened, communication networks that operated outside space-time. We're not just teaching you to fight, Kane said. We're teaching you to understand reality itself in a new way. On the Federation capital world, High Counselor Tharazen faced a growing crisis. The enhancement program was producing remarkable results, but also unprecedented changes in Federation society. Enhanced individuals developed new abilities daily, some becoming almost unrecognizable to their own species. We're losing ourselves, Admiral Krell Voss argued during an emergency session. These changes, they're spreading beyond the military. Civilian populations are showing quantum mutations. Because they're adapting, Captain Marcus Rhodes said. He stood before the council, his form somehow both solid and ethereal. The same way humanity did. The changes aren't just physical, they're evolutionary. And where does it end? Krell demanded. When we're all gods of war like you? No, a new voice said. Commander Lyra Vex entered the chamber, her enhanced form drawing all eyes. When we're something that transcends both war and peace. She demonstrated by creating a quantum field that let everyone present experience each other's consciousness directly. For a moment, the council shared a perfect understanding of each other's fears, hopes, and determination. This is what humanity learned, Lyra said. Not just how to fight, but how to understand existence itself differently. The Void Collective's main fleet appeared at the edge of Federation space, vast beyond comprehension. Their quantum signature warped reality for light years around them. Traditional sensors couldn't even process their true size. But humanity's long sleep had produced more than weapons. In a hidden facility beneath Europa's ice, Dr. Victoria Nash activated the quantum network, an interconnected web of enhanced minds spanning the Federation. This is how we'll coordinate the defense, she explained to Federation leaders. Not just ships and weapons, but consciousness itself. Through the network, enhanced Federation warriors could communicate instantly across vast distances, sharing knowledge and experience in real time. Human instructors guided them, teaching techniques developed over centuries of quantum combat. The first battles rewrote the laws of physics. Federation quantum ships, created in Jupiter's forge, met the collective's forces in combat that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Enhanced warriors phased between states of reality, turning the collective's greatest strength against them. But victory came with a price. Some enhanced individuals began showing signs of quantum addiction, craving the power of existing in multiple states. Others developed godlike abilities they couldn't fully control. In her private laboratory, Dr. Victoria Nash worked desperately to solve these problems. The quantum changes were accelerating faster than anyone had predicted, threatening to transform Federation species as completely as they had once transformed humanity. We're losing the balance, she told Captain Rhodes. The same way we almost did. No, he replied. They're finding their own balance. Look. He showed her recordings from the quantum combat training facilities. Federation warriors weren't just copying human techniques. They were developing their own. Each species found unique ways to exist between normal space and quantum states. The Vrel became living quantum computers, processing reality itself as information. The Thoraxians developed crystalline forms that could channel quantum energy harmlessly. Even the synthetic species created new forms of existence that bridge the gap between digital and quantum states. They're not becoming us, Rhodes said. They're becoming something new, something that might succeed where we failed. In orbit around a dying star, Commander Lyra Vex led a mixed fleet of human and Federation ships against a major collective force. The battle engaged across 11 dimensions of reality simultaneously, both sides shifting between states of existence. But unlike previous encounters, the Federation forces didn't fight alone. The quantum network linked them together, thousands of minds working in perfect harmony. Human experience guided them, but didn't control them. For the first time, the Void Collective faced an enemy that could match their quantum nature while maintaining individual consciousness. An enemy that could exist in multiple states without losing their essential nature. As the battle reached its climax, Lyra realized humanity had given them something more valuable than weapons or power. They had shown them how to change without losing themselves. The gods of war had become teachers, and their students were about to surpass them. The final confrontation approached, and the galaxy would never be the same. Gods no more. Reality trembled as the largest Void Collective fleet ever encountered emerged from quantum space. Their vast consciousness stretched across dimensions, a hunger that could devour galaxies. But the combined forces that waited for them were unlike anything they had faced in their ancient history. At the Quantum Defense Network's heart, Dr. Victoria Nash linked minds with High Counselor Thrazen. Their shared consciousness expanded through the network, connecting every enhanced being in Federation space. Each species contributed something unique to the Gestalt: the Vrel's quantum processing, the Thoraxians' energy manipulation, humanity's combat experience, and countless other adaptations. They're approaching in standard attack formation, Captain Marcus Rhodes reported from the command ship. They still think we're fighting the same war. Then let's show them how much has changed, Commander Lyra Vex replied. Her consciousness pulsed through the network, coordinating the defense fleet's response. The battle that followed would be remembered for millennia, though no normal words could describe it. Ships phased between dimensions, weapons altered probability itself, and entire sectors of space flickered between states of existence. In his quantum laboratory beneath Europa's ice, Dr. Kane Weber monitored the subtle changes in reality's fabric. The Void Collective's attack was more than military. They sought to rewrite the fundamental laws of physics, to remake the galaxy in their image. Their consciousness is evolving, he told Professor Nairavas, who worked beside him at the quantum controls. They're trying to force a universal collapse into quantum state. Can they do that? They could have once, he replied. But now, through the quantum network, they felt the response. Not just from humanity's weapons, but from millions of enhanced beings across the Federation. Each had found their own way to exist between states, to be both quantum and physical without losing themselves. The collective's attempt to force reality into quantum form met not just resistance, but transformation. Master Sergeant Diana Pierce led the first direct assault on a collective consciousness node. Her strike team included warriors from 12 Federation species, each bringing unique abilities to the fight. Remember your training, she said as they phase-shifted into quantum space. Don't try to overpower them, transcend them. The collective responded with overwhelming force, trying to absorb them into its quantum consciousness. But instead of fighting directly, the strike team demonstrated what humanity had learned over centuries of sleep: the power of choice. They shifted between states at will, refusing to be defined by either normal or quantum existence. The collective, which thought in absolutes, couldn't comprehend their nature. In the Federation Council chamber, Admiral Krell Voss watched the battle through enhanced senses. His energy form had evolved far beyond his original nature, but unlike humanity's first transformation, he remained distinctly himself. They're trying to breach the quantum network, he reported, attempting to overwhelm our collective consciousness with theirs. Through the network, Dr. Victoria Nash's response came instantly. Let them try. Show them what true consciousness can be. When the collective consciousness touched the network, they found not weakness, but transcendence. Every enhanced being, every evolved species, every transformed consciousness remained unique while part of the greater whole. The collective, which had only known forced unity, faced true harmony for the first time. High above the galactic core, reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The Void Collective's vast fleet faced the combined forces of humanity and the Federation. But the real battle was fought on levels beyond physical existence. Commander Lyra Vex, her consciousness expanded through the quantum network, felt the moment the collective began to change. Their rigid quantum structure, maintained for eons, started to shift. They're learning, she sent through the network. They're beginning to understand. Through the quantum link, every enhanced being felt the transformation. The collective, which had sought to impose quantum uniformity on all existence, encountered a greater possibility, unity through diversity. Captain Rhodes' voice echoed through dimensions now.